morning, everybody. Welcome to our Moving Markets podcast. It is Thursday, May the 15th, 2025. U.S. stock market has been open for just about a half an hour, maybe a fraction over that. We have got all three major indexes moving to the downside this morning, but none of them terribly so, especially when you consider how much they've gone up over the last couple of weeks. I mean, it has been a pretty incredible run to the upside. Shrink this a little bit. It's been a pretty incredible run to the upside. I mean, this has been a sharp upward recovery. The last 3 days have been pretty phenomenal. So a little bit of give back today, I think, might have been warranted, even if there was no news that was specifically pushing it. However, there is news that's pushing it and driving it, and I think it'll be a very short-lived situation. I don't think the news that is driving things down today is going to create a major drag, although it may be something that keeps us from the next leg up. I think if you go back and look at these market highs from a few months ago, and you look at the strongest level of support that we just kind of broke through in the last couple of days, I'd say right there at the 5850 mark on the S&P. I think a situation, go back several months and look at what the market did back in December, January, first part of February. I think you could see something similar to this for maybe the next few weeks, kind of that floating in that same general area, maybe going back up and touching all-time highs again. But at the same time, I think there could be some days and weeks that bring us back to maybe testing what will hopefully be kind of a strong level of support for the next couple of months. I hope we don't dip below that. So what's driving things today more than anything else is a combination of what we got on the PPI data, which was a surprisingly good PPI number. I'm not very often shocked at the CPI or PPI numbers. I always talk about what might happen if they're a little bit higher than expected, a little bit lower than expected, how there can sometimes be overreactions by the market for either one of those things. But I'm rarely shocked by the number. I got to admit, I was shocked by this morning's number on the PPI data. I don't think very many people, and the ones that told you otherwise, I would question whether they're being honest with you or not. I don't think anyone was expecting numbers to come in negative, to have the negative month over month be negative 0.5%, have month over month core be a negative almost 0.5%. Have the services be negative, the month over month core. I mean, these are numbers that I don't think anyone, if anyone told you they were expecting these numbers, again, I don't know that they would. I don't know that they would be completely. You'd have to question whether they're being completely honest with you. And I thought I had an interesting conversation with one of the other members of the program this morning, because he and I had kind of different thoughts on what these numbers would mean. I looked at these numbers, and my initial thought on these numbers is this is going to force the Fed to bring a cut to rates maybe a little bit quicker than they might have otherwise. And my reasoning behind it was Donald Trump consistently tells the world that Jerome Powell is behind the curve on every move that he makes. I tend to agree with that for the most part. I agree with that because Powell was way too late in starting to raise rates. I think he stopped raising rates a little bit. I think he was wrong on his timing on that. I think there could have been some cases made for him to lower rates, although I'm on the fence on whether that should have happened or not. I think that even with Jerome Powell's dislike of Donald Trump, and he makes that obvious with some of the comments that he makes, even though he's supposed to be apolitical, I think this is going to put pressure on Powell from the other Fed govs to not keep rates up. There's going to be some pressure to say, okay, we've got inflation down now to the numbers that we wanted to get it to, or at least awfully close to those numbers that we wanted to get it to. And we've got to help bolster this economy and boost this economy. And we can't wait too long to start cutting rates. What this other member of the program pointed out to me was that this could cause Powell to do exact, and not the opposite, and not raise rates, but say, look, everything we're doing now is working because we are driving these inflation numbers down. Why would we want to do something different? We're so close to that goal of getting these numbers down to where we want it to. And I had not considered that side of it. So that in and of itself might have been a similar debate to what many other people were having. But then this is what ultimately I believe is driving markets down a little bit, is that Powell made some comments this morning, and this is the one I want to key in on, and that is that he said long-term interest rates are likely to be higher as the economy changes and policy is in flux. Once again, to me, that comment right there, once again, Jerome Powell is opening his mouth when he should be keeping it shut. I don't think there is any reason at all for Jerome Powell to make a comment like that. Why would you say, well, things are uncertain and we're going to have to keep rates higher? Rates are probably going to stay high. Why would you say that? I think it would be okay. This is just my opinion. I know that. I think it would be okay to just be silent on the matter. Just don't say anything at all. Say, hey, that was a good number. We see good positive things happening. Yes, there's a little bit of, we're still, some companies are going to be a little bit uncertain about what's going to happen with rates. That's what Walmart said this morning when they pulled their second quarter guidance. I'll comment on that in a minute when I talk about our Walmart trade. But I just think it was unnecessary for him to say rates are likely to be higher. Why not just shut your mouth about that? Yeah, and Neil just made a comment, said people with power can't keep their mouths shut. I agree. It's like, I don't know if it's just something he is simply unable to do. He just can't stay quiet. Maybe that's just a part of his character. And I'm not saying that's a horrible thing. I think the more professional thing to do would have been to say nothing at all. So anyways, that is all. It's this comment that is ultimately, I believe, driving markets down a little bit. And that's why I say I think it's going to be short-lived. I think there's honestly right now, I think there's too much good news in the economy. All the trade deals that are getting done, all the investment in U.S. manufacturing that's happening, combine that with these numbers. Think about what Walmart reported this morning. Walmart reported a phenomenal earnings. Walmart is down this morning because they pulled their second quarter guidance, and they said it's because of tariff uncertainty. I'm not really upset for Walmart saying that. I think that's an honest statement on Walmart's part. I think that is an honest statement coming from their leadership, that there is some uncertainty about how this tariff situation is going to affect us. So they pulled second quarter guidance. Okay, that's their prerogative. That's why they're trading down. But the numbers they reported were actually quite good. Walmart's numbers were really good. And that shows that the consumer strength is remaining high. There's a lot of concern about consumer sentiment and consumer strength and spending. It's staying at a good level, as evidenced by the Walmart report. Walmart, I think, is going to trade down for a couple of days, and just like Palantir, I think it's going to shrug it off and go positive very soon. Let me use that as a transition really quickly into our Walmart trade. Our Walmart trade right now, I don't have it in here. I forgot to put Walmart in here. My Walmart trade right now is down, but not a lot. And I am very possibly going to roll my short calls down today, not to a lower strike price than the long calls. That's the lowest I would roll it down, is from the 105 down to the 100. Maybe I'll go to 97.50 if that option is available. But I'm going to let those short calls expire worthless tomorrow. the puts are going to expire if the short puts don't go in the money, which, yeah, if the sell off on Walmart accelerated today, that could happen. Um, you remember our short puts are down here at the 90 strike. So Walmart, today and tomorrow could go down that low. I don't think they will. I'm going to take that 105 short call and probably roll it down to 100. Might only pick up 5 cents. I don't even know if it'll pick up that much. I've got this on a different screen. Let me tell you exactly what we could pick up if we did that right now. Leaving it in today's expiration, if we rolled it from 105 down to 100, right now there's only 3 cents to be had doing that. Maybe I could go down to 98 and pick up 8 cents. Maybe there is a 97.50 option. We could get 9 or 10 cents going down to the 97.50 option. I don't think that would be real risky for today and tomorrow. It does create a little bit of a spread and an option requirement between 100 and between 97.50. I'll let everybody know. I'll post it on Discord if I decide to do that today. But after letting that call side expire, I'm going to be pretty conservative about where I add short calls, because I think Walmart, after today, I don't think you're going to get a technical crossover on the 5 and 20-day moving average. I think support is more likely. I think they're going to finish today more around this number, 93, maybe 94. And I think after maybe another flat day, you could see Walmart start to move up. Not super fast, but I think they'll start pushing up. So we'll manage this trade with our short calls and short puts, but we'll let that first set expire worthless tomorrow after maybe an adjustment on the short call today. I like where we're at with our Walmart trade. AMD, pulling back a little bit today, a little bit of profit taking today, not a big deal. If you did the Johnson & Johnson adjustment that I sent out yesterday, that trade is improved today, and I think it will continue to improve into next week. We're not adjusting Johnson & Johnson to get profitable at this point. We're trying to get rid of some of the loss on Johnson & Johnson. It's going to be one of our crappy trades for the year. With where we're at overall, I'm okay with that. NVIDIA and Palantir both giving back a little bit today, but not a lot. Look at where we've turned NVIDIA around in such a short time. I think I might take the profit on NVIDIA. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to take the profit on NVIDIA or maybe do something like we did with Palantir and add a bull put spread to protect NVIDIA going forward. I'll make that decision within the next few days before a bull put spread gets too expensive. And Palantir, I'm just loving where we're at with Palantir, and I think it's going to continue to push higher. Also giving back a little bit today, but it's some profit taking. It's not anything to get worked up about or overly concerned about, because they've had such a phenomenal run. It's a little bit of profit taking. I'm not stressed out by what's happening with Palantir or NVIDIA today. I think there's going to be more good news than bad going forward, and I think we're going to find ourselves in really, really good shape. On the collar trade front, we did all those adjustments we did the adjustment with Ford, with NVIDIA, with Palantir, with I believe Uber we adjusted out. I've got to do something with SoFi probably at the end of the day today for tomorrow morning's open. And with Snap, I waffled a little bit on Snap, and I'm going to admit where I made a mistake. I waffled a little bit. I thought if Snap came down over the next couple of days, it would be a little bit steeper, a little bit sharper than it was. It has come down, which I kind of suspected it was going to do. The problem with Snap is we've got those long puts expiring tomorrow, and even with Snap pulling back a little bit in the last few days, those long puts are not worth much at all because they haven't pulled back down to $8 a share. I will send out an adjustment for Snap today that will include rolling the long puts out to keep us protected, probably moving them up to an 850 strike, and probably adding some short puts down around the $8 strike price to offset the cost of long puts, because I think Snap could pull back a little bit farther, but I don't think you're going to get 3 technical crossovers on Snap, barring something really unexpected. So we'll be smart and be a little bit conservative with our adjustment to Snap. And get in good shape on that. On the triple play trades. We're looking phenomenal overall on triple played. Hopefully you did the SMCI and the Johnson & Johnson adjustment yesterday. Even though SMCI is down a little bit today, it's not affecting that adjustment in a negative way. I think we're still in good shape on that. And Johnson & Johnson, like I said, the move up today on Johnson & Johnson is improving the trade, at least by a little bit, and we'll continue to improve it over the next several trading days and into next week. Here we are on Thursday, and I have still not sent out any new triple play trades, but I'm probably going to send one or two today or tomorrow morning early, and then we'll add to those on Monday morning to kind of make up for the fact that we didn't do any new ones this week because of the adjustments we were still making on some open ones. And because I was on vacation and couldn't be in front of the market as much as I would normally like to be. I held off on sending new triple play trades this week, but that'll be kind of an anomaly. Most weeks you're going to get 2, 3, maybe 4 trades, and we'll kind of make up for the weeks that we don't do new trades as we move along. So I'm going to use that as a spot to wrap up. Hope you had a good week. I'm back on live again tomorrow morning, 30 minutes after the open of the market, and then back to a very normal schedule for the foreseeable future. We do have about a week away from the Memorial Day weekend, and obviously everything that I would normally do on Monday will shift to Tuesday, and otherwise the week of Memorial Day will be exactly the same as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And if you can, keep an eye on Discord, keep an eye on emails, as we might do an update to the Walmart trade today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.